Welcome to MMA Dogs. My name is Hector, and as always, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to give a special thank you to all of our clients. I want to encourage people who are watching, who are on the fence, to go ahead, jump in on the action, throw down your money, and get in on this action because it is going to be a great year. It's going to be a phenomenal year, and I want you guys all to benefit and profit from it. So, with no further ado, we got UFC on Fox 14. The homework is done. The fights have been watched, and it is time to get down to business. So, before I go into it, you always want to be responsible when it comes to wagering, betting, investing, whatever you want to call it. So, never bet more than you can afford to lose. We always go into this wanting to win, but it's not going to be perfect. So, although we'll strive for it to be responsible. And the second thing is you always want to check your local laws, government, and last but not least, much respect to all the men and women who step into the octagon. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of preparation. For most people, a lot of preparation and a lot of work to get in there. So before I get started, I will say that I am not too crazy about this card from a betting standpoint. I don't believe that this is an optimal card for betting. And I really had to really look for not only plays that I think will cash, but also if you can call it value. Some of these plays are really overpriced and just it will be fun breaking some of these down and going over my thoughts on these fighters and these matchups and the stylistic matchup on a lot of these. And but I firmly believe I have found a few decent plays, a few decent wagers that can be made here. So I'm excited for this. So let's jump right into it. We got Siri against Beal, a pair of flyweights. And when Siri first got into the UFC, I was thinking to myself, what has this old man got? What is this old man going to bring to the table? And he brings to the table some decent stand-up. He's got some decent boxing. And a tough guy, very tough. He's got a good chin. And just a decent, overall, well-rounded, decent type of kind of gatekeeper, decent takedown defense, and that's about it. And when I saw the matchup with Chris Beal, I thought, wow, this is an interesting matchup. This will be an interesting little fight. It all depends on how prepared Chris Beal is for the fight. And Chris Beal has impressed me. His knockout that flying knee knockout, that was impressive. The opponent, so. And then the Matsuda fight, Matsuda is a bit underrated. He's a good fighter. And with Chris Beal, we're going to have a guy who's going to be faster. He's going to be stronger. He's going to be bigger. He's going to be younger. He's going to be all those things over Siri. In the stand-up department, he should be able to be faster than Siri, better reflexes, and better overall striking. And then on the for the wrestling part of it, Beal should be able to take him down, hold him there if he wants, let the clock run down a little bit, and win a decision. So realistically, I believe Beal will be the winner. I'll even put a tiny bet on him. Nothing too crazy. And I think he'll continue with his undefeated record here. The reason I'm not crazy about it is because Siri has a lot of heart, and he's fighting in Europe. And last thing I want to do is get caught speeding on Beal here. So Chris Beal for the win. If I had to bet it, and I am going to bet it in a parlay, it'll be Chris Beal, and I think he'll win by decision. That is my belief here. So that is what we're going to go with. And I feel like I was going to add more to that. One. Let me think for a minute if I think of anything. That's pretty much it. It's the younger, fresher fighter, better reflexes, stronger, and it's Chris Beal's fight. Oh, and he's coming in great shape. Good weight cut, so he will be just fine at 125. Now for this next fight, man, what do we have here? I spent too much time on this fight, and I just spent too much time on it. We got a newcomer in Arokin going up against a young heavyweight guy in Pesta. What do we have here? We've got a pair of heavyweights, one guy with a huge price tag who hasn't proven anything in the UFC, and we've got a guy in Pesta who is, a guy who I guess you could call him a prospect, but he hasn't proven anything either. He's proven he can beat the local city guys, but that's about it. So for this one, Rokin has shown that he's got power in his hands. Some people are clamoring, excited to see him in the UFC. I'm not really excited. Honestly, I would rather see Pesta pull off the upset. So this is a do not bet. If I had to bet it, it would be a tiny, small baby bet on Pesta. But I wouldn't trust this Arokin guy. Watching him fight, yeah, he's got good hands, power, but against what kind of guys, against what kind of competition? 40-year-old heavyweights and 39-year-old heavyweights. Just like, of course he's going to knock him out. What do you expect? So I'm not eager to bet this fight at all. Just a complete pass with as many fights we're going to have in 2015. Why push it? So I have to go with Arokin here by knockout round 1 because that's the most likely outcome. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if Pesta pulls through. And although I'm tempted to put a little something on Pesta because the price is getting out of hand, I'm not going to do it. So do not bet, nothing. But for the pick, it will be Arokin by knockout round 1. Okay, for this next fight, Bektik versus Redmond. I wish Redmond had a little bit more time to prepare for this fight. He reminds me a little bit of like a Paul Sass type of a guy who's got or a Toquinho type of guy, who's got one really good move, and that's his jiu-jitsu, his toe holds, and which is kind of funny, but also catches people off guard. But in Bektik, we just have a complete fighter. I mean, this guy is the real deal. The fight that he had with Chaz Skelly, man, his wrestling is unbelievable, first of all. And just got a chin. He's got the heart. He's got the American Top Team on his side. And I'm excited to see him fight here. It's a bit of a layup for him. He should finish it in the first round. And that's why we're seeing the ridiculous odds, because they truly do reflect what should happen. And yeah, it's kind of funny because a lot of these guys don't get any respect, this poor Redmond character. But Bektik, submission round 1, and he's a real deal. I can't wait to see him continue moving along in his career at featherweight, and I expect him to end it quickly. So the bet will be Bektik. The price tag is going to prevent me from going too crazy on it because it's a crazy tag already. So big price tag, but Bektik should pull it off. Submission round 1. I will be betting it, and also I like the under, so I'll go over that towards the end. Now, at the end of this, of course, I'm going to cover the bets, but also our clients get a text file, so you don't have to watch a whole video if you want. You can. I recommend it. But if you just want to get the bets and you just want to see it in text file, nice, clean text file, and also a quick link where you can see all the picks in just a really nice little table. So that's nice too. So yeah, Bektik by submission round 1 or knockout, however he wants to win it. I think it'll be a submission, since I think Redmond will welcome the ground battle. And the next fight, very similar to the previous one, we got Taisumov versus Christodoulou. And Christodoulou, what a tough spot for this poor guy to be in. Taisumov, very talented fighter. We've seen him. I've talked about him in the past. He's got a very well-rounded overall game. Christodoulou is going to have to get the fight to the ground. He's not going to be able to take Taisumov down. And Taz is going to do what he wants here. I predict a first-round knockout for Taz. And poor Christodoulou will have to fight a better day. But Christodoulou, watching his fights, his stand-up is almost non-existent, and his jiu-jitsu is very... he's accomplished in the jiu-jitsu, but this isn't jiu-jitsu, it's mixed martial arts. So Taz will win it here by first-round knockout. That'll be the bet. That'll be the pick, and I can't wait for it tomorrow. For the next one, let's see. Oh, another interesting little matchup here. So we've got Nedkov making his comeback here against Nikita Krylov. For this one, I think this is what I believe will happen. They'll go out there like gangbusters. Nedkov will be gassed by the second round. Nikita, of course, will have slowed down, but I think Nikita will land a couple punches, and Nedkov will just be put out. Nedkov's been out for a while. I think with a lot of these fighters, they go out for a while and then they want to come back and they want to, challenge themselves, prove it to themselves. But, what is Nedkov? 33, I believe. Yep, 33. And Krylov's 22. I mean, this is Nikita's Krylov's fight to win or lose, and I think he'll win it. Nedkov should try to smother him, take him down, but I think Nikita will have improved enough to be able to get back on the feet, land some punches, maybe drag it out to the second round and win via knockout. If I had to bet it, I'm not eager to bet it at all, but if I had to, it would be on Nikita Krylov, Al Capone by knockout. And this is a very interesting matchup here. This is another one I spent a great deal of time on. And I hope I am on the right side. I think I am. For this one, we have Andy Dalitlax Andy Ogle against Mr. Finland, Amirkhani. Amirkhani, a very confident guy, and when it comes to fighting, a lot of it is mental. So the guys who are mentally strong, not only mentally strong, but confident. The guys who are confident, mentally strong, and have a certain amount of I guess you could call it swagger, of a certain amount of belief in themselves, confidence, are the guys who can be special, who usually are special in the UFC. And Amirkhani might turn out to be one of those guys. Maybe not. Maybe he will. But he definitely has the mental part down. He once he gets it to the ground, he's very exciting to watch on the ground. His jiu-jitsu is very good. He's very aggressive. And the little Andy Ogle, he has been facing tough guys, Charles Oliveira, and guys that are just a bit above his pay grade here. Maximo Blanco, explosive guy. Cole Miller, that was an interesting close fight. But ultimately, I think that there is a chance. It's not a lock or a 5-star. It's not even a 3-star pick or bet. There is a chance that in the first round, Amirkhani will be in there with all kinds of confidence, all kinds of inspiration. Just going in there and position himself very aggressively, and either take Andy Ogle's back, grab an arm, a kimura, some form of submission, and end the night rather quickly. So Based off of watching them fight, Andy Ogle puts himself in some very bad positions. He gets out of a lot of bad positions, and puts himself right back in another one. So the thing about Andy Ogle is that he did travel to the U.S. and he has been training at American Top Team. So that concerns me because that means his takedown defense is going to be that much stronger. But I'm going to take a chance here with Amirkhani, and I'm going to say Amirkhani by submission, round 1. But like I said, it's not a lock or anything. If I had to bet it, I wouldn't. If I had to bet it, it would be on a prop on Amirkhani, and that's what I'll be doing. But that's it. If Andy Ogle survives the decision, I won't be surprised. But my pick, my prediction based off after watching the fights, Amirkhani submission round 1 for a nice surprise win. I think the public will keep betting Ogle down, so the price will only get better. But the prop is decent enough right now, so that'll be it for that. Sultan Aliev versus Kenny Robertson. I remember watching this Sultan character in Bellator, and I don't like to waste my time too much watching Bellator anymore because we've got a ton of UFC fights coming up, and as involved as I am with MMA dogs, and basically, you know what I want to, not basically, it is what I want to put my focus in. So, but I remember watching his fight with what's that crazy guy? I forget his name right now. Doug Marshall. Just looks like a wild guy. Doug Marshall. And I thought Sultan Aliev had won the fight. I thought, if this guy just improves a little bit better, he could be something special. And he's been rattling off wins left and right. And now he's in the UFC, and now he's facing Kenny Robertson, the woodshop teacher. This will be a competitive match. I think that they're very evenly matched. I think it'll be competitive. I think that on the feet, Aliev can get the better of him. I think on the ground, Robertson should have the jiu-jitsu advantage, but I don't know if he's going to be that much stronger. The wrestling advantage, and I don't know if he's going to be that much stronger than Aliev. So it'll be interesting to see it on the ground. I think people are going to be surprised that Robertson won't be able to do as much as people are under the impression he'll be able to do. So I think Aliev will survive any type of attack from Robertson, which is really his only threat on the ground, and win a decision. Perhaps even end Robertson's night early, maybe. But I definitely think Sultan will win by decision. Will definitely win the fight. If I had to bet it, it would be on Sultan, but I'm not eager to bet this fight at all, so it's a do not bet. This next one is very interesting. I like this fight a lot. Nico Musoke versus Albert Tumenov. And at first I thought, Nico's going to win this fight. Then once I started watching their old fights, I'm like, man, Nico always gets rocked in the first round. And Tumenov is just a sniper. I mean, this guy is very talented. Started off kind of slow in the UFC, but he's just quickly picking up the pace, and I'm very impressed with Albert. I'm going to go with Albert, but it is with hesitation I say that I'm not eager to bet this fight at all, not whatsoever. If I had to bet it, I wouldn't. This one I would not bet. Do not bet. Ultimately, I think Tumenov will probably catch Nico in the first round because Nico's striking defense and his stand-up isn't all there. This is a wrestler versus striker type of matchup, and Tumenov's takedown defense should be there. It should be there. It should be good and decent enough to fight off any takedowns from Nico. And Tumenov, I think, here is going to be able to pick him apart on the feet and win a decision, perhaps even win it by knockout. So Tumenov by decision will be my pick. Sam Sicilia versus Corassani. These guys are just going to go after it. So I like the slightly. I like the under a little tiny bit. And because if Sicilia clinches up with him and wants to grind him out, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think Sicilia will catch him in the second round. I think maybe even in the first. I think they're just going to come after it. And I think Corassani this may be his last fight in the UFC. So I like Sicilia here, but it's a do not bet. I'm not eager to bet this fight at all. For the straight pick, Sicilia by second round knockout will be the pick. Okay, so we're heading up to the top 3 fights here. Phil Davis versus Ryan Bader. Now, the question I have for this fight is which Phil Davis is going to show up? Who is going to show up to this fight? Is it going to be the guy who fought Anthony Johnson? Is it going to be the guy who fought Anthony Johnson, who just looked I don't even know how to describe it. The guy who fought Glover Teixeira. Who is going to show up? Ryan Bader would have a difficult time with Phil Davis if Phil Davis had better striking. Fortunately for Ryan Bader, Phil Davis' striking is not on the level that's going to cause him to worry like he did against Machida. This is going to be, in my opinion, Bader's fight to keep it standing, use his improving boxing, use his takedown defense, and possibly even land a big overhand right punch, or maybe a hook, and possibly hurt Davis. But I think Bader will play it very safe, very conservative. Not overly so, but I think he'll play it safe and conservative and win a decision. Perhaps a 29-28, maybe a split decision. But I think Bader will win this fight. I'm not overly confident in it. I'm not going to be betting it heavy or at all, or it's not even a 3-star pick. But I believe this stylistic matchup gives Bader an opportunity here to really shine, really show up here. And I just don't trust Phil Davis to coming off a win. I just don't trust him in this spot. So I'm gonna go with Bader. Like I said, it's gonna be a tiny bet just because the odds there's value on Bader here. There's value, and if I was very confident in it, then I would say 3 stars, or I would tell you guys to bet it bigger, and I'd be betting it bigger too. But since I'm not overly confident in it, it's going to just be a slight lean with a tiny bet because of the value on it. So Bader by decision, and that's the way I want to play it. If Phil Davis is able to take him down and grinds him out and just does what he did to Glover, I won't be surprised. So that's why I don't want to play it. I don't want to play this one. So Bader by decision by pick, but I'm just going to put something small on the over plus 200 line. Mousasi versus Dan Henderson. Wow. Whew, man. Another guy like Davis, Mousasi. Which guy's going to show up? You know? Which guy's going to show up here? Obviously, Mousasi has the age. He's got the speed. He's got all the advantages over this poor Dan Henderson at 44 years old of age. But Dan Henderson, man, he is one of the most entertaining fighters in the history of mankind to watch. And I was very impressed with Dan Henderson and everything he's accomplished in his career. If this was any other fighter but Mousasi, I would say bet against Dan. But Mousasi, like I said, God knows, I still remember watching Mousasi fight, I believe it was Keith Jardine here in San Diego many years ago. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell? Who is this guy? What's going on with him? And why is he so hyped? And with Dan Henderson, you know, I know what I'm going to get out of Dan Henderson. I've got nothing but respect for him in the octagon. And I'm not going to bet against Dan Henderson. Now, the obvious pick here is Mousasi is the reason why he's, minus 500, whatever ridiculous odds he's at right now. But I'm not going to trust him with my hard-earned money. No way. If anything, I'll put something on Dan Henderson. So do not bet. If I had to bet it, I wouldn't. Because there's no need to bet this fight. I'll be rooting for Dan Henderson. I hope Dan Henderson wins. I hope Dan Henderson gets the knockout. I hope the H-bomb lands. This is going to be a total pass. Mousasi by decision is the smart pick, but I do not bet. And like I said, I'll be rooting Dan Henderson and hoping that he wins here. Gustafsson versus Johnson. Wow, another fight where I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, wow, man, that is a big price tag for an evenly matched fight. I like Gustafsson to win here. I think he'll play it safe. I think he'll wait until maybe round 3 to turn it on or really come aggressively. But I think Gustafsson has the advantages just about everywhere. But I'm not eager to bet against Anthony Johnson. No way. Anthony Johnson is just a beast. I mean, he can. I think Johnson will be able to hang with Gustafsson everywhere, anywhere and everywhere the fight can go. Johnson will hang. So I think Gustafsson will get a decision. So I definitely like the over. Like I said, I'm not too crazy about anything this fight card, this event. So the plays are going to be rather small. But I like Gustafsson to win a decision here. I think he can use his footwork. I think he can use his length. I think he can do what Gustafsson does. Just fight his fight. And I think Johnson may become a little frustrated. But if Anthony Rumble Johnson somehow pulls off the win, I wouldn't be surprised. And that's why I'm not going to bet it. But I do like the over. Gustafsson by decision, do not bet. So that wraps it all up. I wish I had a bunch of very strong opinions on some of these fights. But like I've said in the past, I'm not going to force it. If it's not there, I never want anybody to force something if it's not there. And so the plays are going to be small. So MMA Dogs, UFC on Fox 14. 5 stars, unfortunately none. 4 stars, unfortunately none. 3 stars. Now these guys should be higher ranked, but because the public is on the right side, the market reflects the true price. Can't really do too much with it. So it's going to be a 3 stars for the next one. So Bektik at -700. Taisumov, Mairbek Taisumov -900. The under 2.5 rounds, under 2.5 rounds, Taisumov and Christodoulou. What is these last names? The under 2.5 -125, and the under on Bektik and Redmond -130. Those are the star picks, so to speak, so to graph, so to chart. Now for the bets, 1 unit equals 1% of the bankroll. Like I said, if you're just watching the video, our clients get a document with all the text files, nice and neatly organized, and also a quick view of the picks and our predictions. So nice little text file. So I'm going to read it off of that here. So I got the under 2.5, Taisumov against Christodoulou, -125, 1 unit to win 0.80 units. So just a unit to win 0.80. The under on Bektik and Redmond, that's -130, also a unit to win 0.77. The over on Gustafsson and Johnson, over 2.5, -140, 1 unit to win 0.71. And this was a 3-legger. The over on Davis and Bader at -270, over 2.5. Bektik at -700 and Taisumov at -900, -135, 1 unit to win 0.74. So that's all those three added up is -135, 1 unit to win 0.74. Okay. Chris Beal at -189, Bektik at -700, and Taisumov at -900, -106. So that'll be half a unit to win 0.47 units. So that takes care of the straight plays. So you can see here, very conservative. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 units. Very nice and conservative. No need to force it. And then I got a few round robins. Round robin of 2s. 3 parlays total. 0.10 units each. So total bet is 0.30 units to win 1.10 units. So that's Ryan Bader at 215, Bektik inside the distance at -125, and Mairbek Taisumov at inside the distance at -145. So round robin of twos. There's 3 picks. That's going to give us 3 parlays total. So nice little play there. Round robin of twos. Like once again, 3 parlays, 0.10 units each. Total bet is 0.30 to win 0.55. Ryan Bader at plus 3.5 points. So that's -175. Bektik inside the distance and Taisumov inside the distance once again. So another small little play there. And then we have round robin of twos, 3 parlays. This was very small, 0.04 units each. Total bet is 0.12 units to win 1.07 units. So once again, Taisumov inside the distance at -145. Makwan Amirkhani wins by submission plus 475. And the under on Corassani versus Sicilia at plus 170. That one's under 1.5. Corassani and Sicilia plus 170. I think these guys are gonna be the first fight on Fox, so I think these guys are gonna come after it and try to put on a show, and somebody's gonna get knocked out. So the grand total is 5.22 units to win 6.21 units. Sometimes it's more than that, and rarely is it less, but just have to go based off of what I see. And like I said, don't want to force it if it's not there. So that wraps it all up. I hope to be hooting and hollering this evening. I hope to be jumping up and down. Yeah, whoosh! Another winning night, and that's what I have prepared for. That's what I bring to the table. I'm very excited, and so yeah, thank you once again to all of our clients. Thank you to all of you watching. Thank you to all of our supporters, and that wraps it up for tonight. So, hope you guys all have a great weekend. And next weekend, next Saturday night, we will be watching the Spider and Nick Diaz make their comeback into the UFC. Diaz 2-year layoff. Silva about a year, maybe a little bit more than a year layoff. And we're going to have some questions about the Spider, some questions about Diaz. You know, Silva's chin's still there. Does Diaz still want to fight? So many questions, and I can't wait to answer all those. So that'll be the next card. Hopefully we go into this one with 6.21 more units to add on to the year total. And so yeah, so that wraps it up. I hope you guys check out the website. You can find all the numbers, everything laid out, wins, losses, every single bet, everything just totally revealed, and you know, nothing to hide or nothing to sweep under the rug. You know, it's all there. Good times, bad times, but ultimately, like I said, here in 2015, looking to make big things happen, and so far so good. So hope you guys have a great weekend, and I look forward to talking to you all real soon. So I hope you guys take care, and I hope we're all hooting and hollering, jumping up and down. Woo! I knew it! I knew it! Yeah! Woo! Ah, so happy tonight. So, all right, everybody. Talk to you later.